Now this is a build. It dominates tier 8 hordes. It speedruns tier 120s in 3 minutes. Pumps out billions of DPS while still having room to double its damage. It's completely unkillable. Oh, and on top of that, it's also insanely fun and playable by anyone regardless of gear or amount of brain cells. Because that is what I wanted for this build, for everyone to be able to play it. I therefore made a bunch of different variations. If you saw my previous Heartseeker build guide, then that is the standard version for when your gear is dogshit. I also added another version if your gear is even more dogshit, or if you're leveling, along with a big boy tanky setup for dominating all content in the game. I even have a maximum DPS version for when you want to show off your massive schlong in front of your buddies. Everything you could possibly need is right here. For the shit newbies out there, let's talk a bit about the basics first though, because this is a Heartseeker build. And if you played Heartseeker in Season 4, then it was all about victimize. But we're throwing that shit in the trash now, along with my hopes and dreams as it's so heavily nerfed. It's only usable in tier 7 hordes and below. Instead, everything we do is to maximize the Heartseeker damage. On top of that, if you have the Coombringer, then you can slap that on to deal with any AoE damage you need, along with being unkillable. That's what I'm doing here in the footage. I pull in enemies with the Shroud of Kanduras, followed by blowing up elites via Heartseeker and the tiny shit mobs via the Coombringer. It's just that easy. The Shroud of Kanduras is so godly in the infernal hordes, in fact, that I nearly double the amount of enemies killed when it's on. It just pulls in everything, followed by dealing massive amounts of damage. But it has yet another benefit. It's bugged. The dark shadow it throws and deals damage can not only pump out 100 million of damage or so, but it also has a 100% lucky hit chance. So when you combine this with lucky hit effects, such as lucky hit, chance to stun, daze, or freeze, then all the enemies pulled in will be instantly crowd controlled. Okay, so what the hell does this mean? Well, damn son, it means that the entire fucking room is crowd controlled whenever you evade. As soon as I started using this along with some other big boy defensives I'll show later, I just instantly became an immortal, unstoppable god. Pretty useful, seeing as if you die in the hordes, you're basically fucked. Okay, Mr. Perragaming, Big Dick Senpai, defensives are cool and all, but how the hell are we able to deal such insane amounts of damage? Well, damn. For starters, Heartseeker is a basic skill. No shit, right? Yeah. But combine this with the massively overtuned basic skill aspect, Shard of Arathiel, and the upgraded Pain Gorgers, and you may start seeing how we can make our Heartseeker deal 1 billion damage per hit. Things just turned into insanity as Season 5 launched. If you want a reference to how insane, we can now muster up to 30 ranks into Heartseeker now. Yep, that's how insane things have gotten. Okay, Mr. Amazing Gamer, what about the other skills then? Why are those on your bars? Well, shit. These have not changed since the previous build version, but we'll go through them with ease anyways. Dash and Shadow Step are there to grant mobility, unstoppable along with proccing tricks of the trade in the Perragons. And Death Trap? Well, not only does this reset our cooldowns via preparation and grant us damage reduction, but we're also able to rock the No Witness legendary node. And that thing is, let's just say, pretty damn strong. For the remaining 2 skills, those are quite easy. Caltrops is used on bosses for the enhanced Caltrops, as well as for the Deadly Ambush legendary node. These 2 damage bonuses combined, and any boss in the game is in for a good-ass whooping. The same goes for Smoke Grenade. It's simply there for the massive damage bonus it provides. Now the intelligent gamer may have noticed something with the last 3 skills. They're all AoE usable. And what do you think happens when you're dominating the high pits or hordes, and you pull in all enemies with Shroud of Kanduras? That's damn right. You'll easily just throw a smoke grenade on all of them, and gain the bonus on every goddamn enemy in the game. Same goes for caltrops, but you'll mainly use it for bossing and pushing the pit. Before we head on to the gear and aspects though, let's just quickly talk about the playstyle in case you're on the edge of playing this. Well, for starters, you can probably see for yourself how it plays, but the reason this is great for both the one brain cell dad gamers and the Giga Chad pumpers is that the build is exactly as difficult as you make it. You want to brain AFK and just hold down one button? Do it. You can stand in a corner, jerk off and hold down the Heartseeker button. The skill has an actual built-in aimbot. But if you're a Giga Chad, then you can also play to maximize your damage output. You'll pull enemies in like a boss, place all your damage multipliers on them like a god, and start pumping. Hell, you can even animation cancel the evades using dash and shadow step. Still fun to do. Alright, so that's the basics. Let's check out the gear and aspects, shall we? Starting us off, Cowl of the Nameless is just too hecking good. Running around in infernal hordes, it easily provides us with 100% crit chance and crit damage. On top of that, Unstable Elixir is simply one of the strongest passives in the game currently. Oh, and by the way, everyone is playing Andariels, so it's cheap as hell currently. For titty protection, you'll definitely want Shroud of Khanduras. Pulling in enemies, dealing a buttload of damage and Dark Shroud ranks. How about fuck yes? And as per usual, I'll get the question as to why we are using Dark Shroud when it's not on the bar. It's due to the Umbrous aspect granting us Dark Shroud stacks when we crit. For gloves, try to get yourself a fine pair of Pain Gorges. Basic skill ranks and attack speed is what you'll want to prioritize here, but don't sleep on the aspect either. It can also deal substantial damage. As pantaloonies, slap these on real good. These would have been real perfect if it wasn't for one stat. Do you see it? Yeah, maximum life per Dark Shroud is dogshit as it seemed to scale with base life. What you instead want is second wind ranks. Trust me, it will make you unkillable. For sneakers, grab these. You'll want one armor roll that is preferably a GA, or else you'll have to masterwork it. I still need to reset mine and masterwork it to get capped. Also, grab the concussive strike aspect for Big Dam and Dazes, which you'll need for trick attacks in the skill tree. Now next up are the weapons, but what about the resistances? Well damn, Shroud of Khanduras grants shadow rares, so that shit is sorted. Fire, poison and lightning needs to get socketed, and we have cold rares in the Perragons. If your second ring has cold rares, then you should be capped for everything. I don't, so I'm lacking just a little bit. If you don't have Starless on the other hand, then you'll need to get all resistance on your gear. It's in the planner, check it out buddy. For weapons, you'll start off with making sure your Heartseeker is over 100%, then start slapping on as much damage per Dark Shroud as possible. On the two-hander, you'll grab Moonrise along with Shard of Varathiel for massive damage and the Coombringer. Don't have it? No worries, grab the Conceited aspect. But shit hurts in T8 hordes, man. Also slam some ultimate skill damage into the weapon gem sockets, as we'll need it for the Perragons. For masterworking, prio the basic attack speed and skills on the Shard, and max life on the Coombringer, and this sword won't be the only one bringing the Coom. Alright, and then onto the jewelry. My gear is getting real strong currently, but there's still room to double my damage. The main reason for that is my amulet. With some GAs along with Unstable Elixir here, I'd probably get another 40 or 50% more damage. But hey, I'm not Rob. Heck, I'm not even German Elmau. You should prio Frigid Finesse, Exploit and Unstable Elixir here. For backup, Malice and attack speed is also decent. Oh, and don't forget to slap on the adaptability aspect, my man or woman, because it's insanely good. When it comes to solving resources, I'll show how it's done for all the versions in a sec. But for this one, Innovation ranks and Starless is the name of the game. Other than that, though, you must imprint the cold clip aspect. This is quite possibly the biggest buff to Heartseeker in Season 5, allowing us to cold imbue our Heartseekers with ease. Well, damn son. Gear and aspects are now done. Let's deal with some important matters now, shall we? But first, whatever the fuck this guy is on, I sure want some of that. Let's head for the dungeon because this shit is stressing me out. For starters, the specialization. Preparation is the name of the game, allowing us to reset all of our cooldowns with ease. We then have the matter of resources. Seeing as Shard of Varathiel makes our Heartseeker cost a shit ton of resources, we need to solve this for all the builds. In this setup, which I'm using most frequently, it's solved via innovation on the jewelry along with starless skies. Now, everyone is not so fortunate to be a low-life scum of the earth YouTuber with all the Ubers in the game, so here's 2 ways in which you can solve it without them. First being Beastfall Boots. This is currently bugged with the cold clip aspect, making it count as a cooldown and restoring all energy back. To use this, all you need to change is to temper chance to daze on your pantaloonies. Now, in case this has been fixed when you watch this video, here's another way to solve it. If you grab the Starlight aspect, you'll get energy back whenever you heal yourself. To use this, though, you'll need to grab Siphoning Strikes and fight enemies up close to heal yourself. You can also grab points in Aftermath, healing you constantly. But the Beastfall trick is the best, and if it gets hotfixed, I'll change the planner. Next up are the gems. I'm currently rocking Dex gems as I'm a Gigachad, but if you're a dogshit newbie, then, for the love of God, use rubies. It just makes your life way easier. We then have the Uber Prio. I can highly recommend both Starless and the Coombringer for this one. If you're a broke boy, then say so, and you may only be able to get one. So which one? Starless or the Coombringer? Well, damn, that depends if you're a Gigachad or a soy boy better cuck. If you are looking for Big Damn, then go for Starless. That's the only Uber I'm rocking in the big boy setup. If you're a cuck such as myself and don't enjoy dying, go for the Coombringer. Tyrael's is also decent, but the Shroud of Kandura's crowd control combo is just way too strong. Okay, and what about the consumables? Because those are an actual thing in this game. Well, I pretty much always go for the Fortitude Elixir, so there's that. And for final tip, I'd like to remind you that the council bosses are weak assholes. Okay, and what does this mean? Well, shit, son. You can easily just delete the hordes and play with defensive gear, and then swap out the weapon for a big boy weapon, of course. That's what I do when I'm speed farming and want to get done as fast as possible. All right, questionnaire finalized. You know what time it is now? Damn right. It's skill tree a fucking clock, and you know it, baby. Let's check it out. Starting us off, we drop all the ranks we can get into Heartseeker, along with Enhanced and Primary Heartseeker. Drop a wet fart on the core skills, and pick up some lovely defensives instead. Next, leave that shit-smelling skill tree and pick up some real skills. Shadow, Step, and Dash. Yes, thank you. We also have a buttload of passives here. Unstable Elixir is just godly, and Trick Attacks too. This passive is kept up permanently in the hordes, but it will drive you fucking insane if you want to keep it up on bosses, for example, and will require ads. Either way, pretty strong. We also have Enhanced Caltrops, which is a massive buff on bosses. Next up are the subterfuge skills. Dark Shroud is just massive, not unlike something else if you know what I'm saying. This channel, if people would just fucking subscribe already, that is. We then have a few damage passives, along with Smoke Grenade for Big Damn. After that, we want points in Cold Imbuement to grab Enhanced Cold Imbuement, which is our source of Vulnerable, and Mixed for the massive damage bonus. Frigid Finesse is yet another huge multiplier, raking in a whopping 80% Big Damn for me right now. Next, we go to pick up Innovation. Now, this is important. So listen up, goddammit. The amount of points you grab here all has to do with how many you get on your gear and how your energy is looking. Because it's extremely important that your energy never runs down below 50% for the adaptability aspect. Second wind is also here, which I wanted to have on the pantaloonies, and of course our ultimate death trap. And finally, the key passive. Victimize is only good if your gear is shit and you can't clear up packs of enemies fast enough. This is due to it being massively bugged and not scaling at all with Heartseeker, but it is scaling with Shroud of Khanduras. Okay, and what the hell does that mean? Well damn, if your gear is absolute dogshit, then you can rely on Victimize and Khanduras to clean up. But if you're in tier 8 hordes and tougher content, then there just ain't no way. So that's why we go close quarters for more damage. Well damn son, we successfully completed the skill tree. What do you say we head on over to the Perragons, shall we? I've changed a few important things here since we last met. We still start off with control here for the big dam and crowd control damage, which we use for the close quarters key passive. We then go to pick up cheap shot, some crowd control damage and defensives, to then pick up the fluidity glyph for big dam and damage reduction. After that, we go for the no witness board, along with a buttload of ultimate skill damage to boost it, and socket chip. I managed to get us a buttload of decks in this Paragon setup, as we're mainly focusing on these type of glyphs. Up here, we have the deadly ambush node, which we trigger mainly via caltrops and the devious glyph. After that, we go to pick up tricks of the trade, which we trigger via dashing and shadow stepping and socket exploit to instantly gain vulnerable. And then finally, exploit weakness. Now these Paragons are extremely defensive, so if you want, you can always ditch some defensive nodes and go for another glyph if all you do is run around in Hell Tides all day long. But we'll need these in the tier 8 hordes, especially if you suck a big Donkey Kong dong. Well, great job, friends. Paragons are done, and you know what happens next. Damn right, it's time to get hecking good, and you know it, baby. For the one brain cell dad gamers, all you need to do is stand in a corner, hold down Heartseeker, and try not to bust a nut, receiving the biggest ether orgasm you've ever witnessed. If you actually want to play the game, however, this is what you do. You're using dash and shadow step for mobility. Mainly dash though, as we're saving shadow step in case we get crowd controlled. You'll need to do this at least once every 8 seconds to gain the damage bonus from tricks of the trade. Death Trap is quite easy though, you simply press it when it's off cooldown. For caltrops and smoke grenade, it depends. I mainly recommend using caltrops on bosses and when you're pushing the pit, as it's clunky as fuck and slows you down. For smoke grenade though, that is when shit gets fun, and I'll explain why. The main combo you're doing is shooting some Heartseekers, evading and pulling enemies in and repeating. Whenever you pull in enemies though, it's a perfect time to drop a smoke grenade on their sorry asses to gain the damage bonus on all of them. When it comes to bossing, most of your damage comes during the stagger phases. This is where you want to dump all of your cooldowns. Caltrops should be on the ground, and remember that you gain more damage the longer it's been up. Smoke grenade, just as you're about to stagger, pop that death trap cooldown and start slapping my man or woman. Do this, and the boss should die with ease. If you're a Giga Chad that enjoys pushing the pit, then you need to know that you deal substantially more damage when a lot of enemies are dazed. So if there's ads, then you want to crowd control them via dazes, and your damage will skyrocket. I also decided to leave the most important tip of them all for last, because if you didn't watch the entire video, then you can lick my balls. Don't forget to chug a health potion when you need damage. The damage bonus it grants you for 10 seconds is just absolutely huge. With enough skill ranks, it doubles your damage. Well, damn son, that is everything I had for this one. Drop a sub for fuck's sake, and I'll see you in the next one.